I feel like such a pussy, to be perfectly honest, because when I have bad nights of sleep, like that shit still ain't as bad as the consistent things that you were dealing with. But then you still came in and you're doing all this shit. I'm just like, how the what? Like you're doing this off of sleeping like that? It's just like, I guess it's surprising what you get used to and the way you get used to feeling, but still work at a pretty high level. So it must be pretty interesting to wonder, because you're doing a lot of stuff now and you're getting the amount of sleep you're supposed to get and you're getting quality sleep. Do you notice a difference in how you are day to day with business, with people, etc.?
So far, I feel really lazy.
Really?
Yeah, I feel lazy and I feel a little groggy. I feel a little like slowed down a little bit. But I think it's just a transition. Like, I don't think my body's ever felt this before. So it's going to take some time. I mean, it sounds really weird and odd to work on something that isn't giving you like a bunch of symptoms. But I want to try to age well. Like 10 years from now, I want to be about the same as I am now. I want to have not have regressed at all. I would like for my mobility to be a little bit better. I'd like to be a little bit leaner. If I can lift about the same, that would be cool. Certainly, I want to be able to run a lot better than what I'm running now. So like, I want to kind of rewind the clock. And so one of the best ways to do that is through your sleep. And one of the other ways of doing that is through stress mitigation. So I went for like 10 years. I don't even really look at stuff like this anymore, but for like 10 years straight in kind of diving into like personal development, that's all I looked at. Anything to do with stress, anything to do with anxiety, anything to do with depression, I would try to absorb as much information as I possibly could on those topics. And I didn't feel like I suffered from any of those things, but I was like, what an amazing thing. Like, you can have resilience in those areas. Like, holy shit, like that's amazing. And then the different people that we have on the show, we've had so many different types of people talking about their way of dealing with stress. And there's some people that didn't have loving parents. There's some people that did. There's some people that have had abusive parents. You know, we got people like C.T. Fletcher that was abused a lot as a kid. We have some people that have grew up poor. We got some people that grew up a little bit more well off. Like, we have a wide diversity of people saying very similar things, to where regardless of where you are in life and regardless of where you started off, you can make some really incredible fucking changes. And the changes need to happen. The change a lot of times needs to happen within yourself. And then you can kind of dictate how much everything around you impacts you. You could sit around and feel real sorry for yourself and say, I never had a shot because of this. Or you can say, you know what? Because I never had a shot, I'm going to show people. I'm going to show people the way. I'm going to show people a different way. I'm going to show people that somebody like myself can make it. We can figure these things out. So I studied a lot of that stuff. And you only start to study stuff like that when you, unfortunately, sometimes when you get in a position to where I, in a very fortunate way, didn't have to worry about some other things because I was financially secure, so I can go Ron Penna, like all the different people we've talked to.
Yep.
There's so many people with the same story. We're kind of sitting there in awe of these people and like, how the fuck? But it's because they got to a place comfortably. They worked harder at some point. They stacked up enough to where they felt good enough to where they could start to study these kind of side piece things, these smaller things. Like, we're investigating the fucking feet. We've talked to so many people about the development of the jaw and the airway. Like, we've been down these rabbit holes before. But it will help the individual if you can be more at peace with the things that you're doing every day. Then it's going to be a lot easier to dive into these things and maybe end up with restful sleep.
But one thing to mention there, even though, you know, Ron, I remember we were talking to him one day and we asked him a question. He's just like, make more money and it won't be a problem. So even though, right, you hear what Mark said too, where he's like, I mean, I got to a certain point where I could focus on all these things. You can still get all those benefits right now because you don't need to experiment to try to find out. We've told you all the things that you can do to work on it. So now you just got to do it. You don't need a search. Just start doing certain things with your feet. Just start taping your mouth.
I did it when I was broke too, but it was just different shit. You know, I was like, you know, I would be sitting at home and I'm like, how do I, you know, if I squat off this couch this way, like, what does this look like if I fucking jump up with this amount of energy when I do my next box squats? Oh, tomorrow I'm going to fucking get after it. Tomorrow I'm going to try to squat with my feet straighter. You know, I'm going to try a little bit wider. I wonder how that'll affect the hips. And I wonder if my grip is out a little bit, or if my grip is a little closer. Like I thought about these things meticulously when I didn't have any money. I was always always obsessed with a way of having self-improvement. So I didn't have shit back then. I should not have been thinking about that. I should have been thinking about, hey, motherfucker, you should get a job and you should start to make some like real money so that you can play power lifter here and there. But for me, it's always been like, I want to get better at some of these things.
Power Project family, how's it going? Now on this podcast, Mark, Andrew, and I, we talk about fasting a lot. We talk about the ketogenic diet and a lot of different types of diets, but Bubs Naturals has a product. They have the collagen protein, which is amazing. They have these apple cider vinegar gummies, which are like crack, but they have
they have these
MCT oil powder packets that I've never used to do this, but in the morning I'll wake up and I'll put it in coffee, and the smoothness, number one, in terms of the mixing is amazing, but the consistency of my energy through the day because of the MCT oil powder is peak. Andrew, how's your experience with it?
Yeah, no, that's exactly it. It's like the best way to start the day. You're satiated, you're energized, and you're just ready to crush the day. So if you guys want to get in on this MCT oil powder, head over to bubsnaturals.com and at checkout, enter promo code Power Project to save 20% off your entire order. Again, Bubs Naturals, promo code Power Project to save 20% off. Links to them down in the description as well as the podcast show notes. Do you think that the like the lazy feeling, like the sluggish feeling, is just coming from sleep inertia?
Yeah, I think it is for sure. I think it's just me getting used to something that's a little bit different.
You want to mention what sleep inertia is real quick?
Yeah, just when, the best way I guess I can put it is like, you know, there's times where you wake up before you're supposed to wake up.
Oh, yeah.
And you're just like, bing, I'm good to go. Like, fuck, dude, it's 3:30. I got to get up at 6. Like, I'm just going to go back to sleep. And then when your alarm goes off and you're a fucking zombie, it's because that
you're still within a cycle.
You're going, if you can imagine, sleep is in motion, and then all of a sudden it hits that alarm. It's like, well, you still want to keep going. So that's essentially what sleep inertia is.
There's two big things going on. Number one is the sun is getting up earlier and earlier as we get closer and closer to summer. And so I don't like waking up being like beat by the sun. I'm like, you motherfucker. Like I'll wave my fist. I yell at it. Get off my lawn.
I'll get you.
Yeah. So I don't.
Worms. That sounded great. Oh, God. No, you did that amazing.
God, Worms is great. Have you ever played Worms?
Game.
No, both of you guys have. You guys have talked about it countless times, but I haven't played Worms.
Dude, we would be laughing so hard if we were playing Worms. Oh, he tried to go for the bank shot.
Banked it, yeah.
Didn't quite work out. Anyway, I don't know what I was saying.
You said there was like two things: the sun.
Oh, yeah, the sun being out early makes me feel like a bum, and then also, if I don't get myself to sleep at the correct time, then there's just no more negotiating anymore. I won't allow myself to. I won't allow myself to compromise that and wake up earlier. So, if I go to bed at 10. Then I'm not getting to do some of the things that I like to do in the morning. So I'm still here early. I'm still here at like 7, or today I was here at like 8:30. But yeah, I'm still getting here early, but I let off on a lot of that. Like there's no reason for you to be out in the morning running. Like just fucking go to sleep, stay asleep, see what it does for you. Like let's just see what it does. Like do it for a couple months, do it for a year. Like what's the... Maybe if I commit to it, maybe everything else will be easier. That's what I'm assuming, because normally I don't feel bad. So I have to kind of point that out. But unfortunately, I lie to myself a lot. Like I lie to myself all day about like anything. So like it's a protective mechanism. I'm a former athlete. Hey, how you feeling? Like great. Like what are we doing? what am I gonna do? Like, hey, how you doing?
Down in the dumps, man. It's rough.
Yeah. No, I don't want you guys to feel that for sure. Like, I mean, I may answer you more hyped up on a particular day than another. But I wouldn't want to like put that energy on the show, so I'd rather, kind of, I'm not trying to lie. I'm not trying to fake it. I'm not trying to like forcefully push myself in anything, but this is why a lot of athletes and a lot of great athletes have coaches a lot of times. Because like the coach needs to write the program, and the programming, so much of what Jesse Burdick does for Jeremy Avila is to like back him way the hell off, right? Like, Jeremy, you need to slow down, like less sets, less intensity. A lot of us could really utilize that. And so for me, I'm always wanting to push forward. So I don't feel like the sleep has been to my detriment, but let's find out what happens when I start sleeping more and when I start getting better quality sleep.
Peeps, we love bringing you all this fitness information, and we also want to help bring that information to more people. So if you could help us out, hit that red subscribe button and then hit the notification bell, and we'll continue to bring you the heat. And I won't whisper in your ear. Talk to you guys later.